I know some of you are complaining that when you go to your assets, you don't see spot in your assets. Okay, what you're seeing is funding and unified. Okay, that's what you see in yours. That's what most people are complaining. But in mine, you can see I have spot here, I have derivative, and I have funding. Okay, now I want you all to understand that unified you're seeing is the same thing as spot. Yes, it's the same thing as spot. So if you actually want to trade spot, you transfer your money from funding to unified. Okay, that's the one you guys are seeing there. So you transfer your money from funding to unified by clicking this button here, which is this one you see here. Transfer from funding to unified. Unified, which you see there, it is still the same thing as spot. Now, why my account is still this way? That's because I haven't upgraded yet. You can see what is written above here. Okay, upgrade to unified trading account. You tap on it. Okay, you scroll down, you click on upgrade. That's if you actually want to upgrade. But for me, I am not upgrading. Okay, I want mine to be this way. So in your own account, if you're seeing unified, just know that unified is your spot. Okay, so spot and unified is the same thing. So all you have to do is to transfer your funding, because when you credit your account, it's going to be here on funding. So for you to spot trade or futures trade, you need to transfer the money which you have here to your unified, okay, assets, which is the spot, and that's it. And also, if you want to trade futures, okay, you have to transfer your funding. From funding, you transfer it to your unified. That's if you actually want to trade futures. It's the same thing. Okay, I said I wasn't going to upgrade my account, but for the sake of you guys, I'm going to upgrade my account now. I'll show you guys how I did it. Now, for those individuals who just signed up, there's no need to upgrade your account. Why? Because you're a new user, so you also be showing unified. But for those old users, okay, once you upgrade your account to unified, you will no longer see the spot and derivative anymore. The spot and derivative will be your unified. Okay, so for those individuals who are new, you don't need to upgrade, but for the sake of this video, so you guys can follow up, so I'm going to upgrade my account so you guys will understand what I am doing. So you tap in this section, okay, the top of your screen, and then you scroll down and then you upgrade. Okay, and then you acknowledge this, which means you're pending your signature, and then you probably want to read first, and then you upgrade, and then okay, and boom, it's that simple.
Alright, if you want to start trading futures, the first thing you have to do is to open up your Bybit app. Now click on asset, and you have to transfer your money from your funding account to your unified account. Now for some of you that yours is showing as derivative and spot, you have to transfer the money from funding to derivative before you can start trading futures. Now you are aware that for you to when you deposit money in your Bybit account, the money comes to your funding wallet, and once it comes here, so we need to transfer it to our unified or to our derivative account for those that are have derivative on it. So click on transfer, and right here you're going to select the coin. So the coin is USDT. So how much do you want to deposit? So we have about $153 in our funding account, and I want to deposit everything, or let's say $100. I'll just type $100 here, and I'll click on confirm. Okay, so if you see now, we have just $53 in our funding. That means the $100 there has actually moved to our unified trading account. So if it's for you that has derivative, what you would have done is to click on transfer and change this you won't see unified there, might be seeing spot, so you just change it to derivative. But because ours is unified, we've transferred our account to, we've upgraded our account to unified. That's why we have unified there. So I needed to point that out very well. So now we have our money unified. We actually need to go to the next step, which is by clicking on derivative. All right, so when you open up your derivative section, the first thing you can do is to click on this BTC USDT you're seeing at the top here, and you see a list of all of the coins. Now there's also another way to find it. Let's go back. If you click on market, Now the next thing to do is to click on derivative. You see all of those coins we just saw from that section. For me, I like to follow it from here than the derivative section, but all of them, I use the both of them simultaneously, so anyone is fine. So right here you can see BTC USDT as number 1, ETH USDT, SOL USDT. So you can see all of the coins that are available on derivative. Now you need to be aware that derivative is the same thing as futures. So if you're trading futures on Bybit, it is called derivative, but other platforms it is called futures trading. So don't get confused with that. So you can see a list of all of the coins we have in our derivative, and you can pick any of the coin you want to trade. Now let's say you want to trade BTC, or let's just look for another coin. Let's say Matic, for instance. You can just click on it, and once you click on it, it takes you to this chart section. You can see that the current price for Matic is 0.8998 USDT for one Matic, and this is the price movement of Matic in the past 15 minutes. You can see on this time here at the top here, you can see 15M, you can see 1H, you can see 4H, you can see 1D. So each of these, like this 15M stands for 15 minutes. So each of these red and green candlesticks you're seeing here stands for 15 minutes. And if each of these ones stands for 1 hour, I've clicked on 1H. So each of these candlesticks right here stands for 1 hour. For 4H, each of these candlesticks here stands for 4 hours, and then one day stands for one day. 1D stands for 1 day. Now if I click on more, there are other options: 1 second, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 60 minutes, 6 hours, 1 month. So depending on what you want to do, you can actually do your analysis from here. Some persons like to do the analysis from TradingView, but if you can do your analysis from here, fine. But if you can't, you can actually use TradingView to do your analysis. All right. So right now the current price for Matic is 0.9 USDT. Now the next thing to do is to when you've done your analysis, let's say let's just do a blind trade right now. I just want to take a short position because maybe I feel like Matic is going to go down. Now this is just a prediction, not like I've actually looked at the chart to say okay, Matic is going to go down, but I want to just do that for the purpose of this video. So I'm going to click on short. Now you can see short right here, but before I click on, let me explain what short and long means. Now long simply means you're predicting that the market is going to go up, and short simply means that you're predicting that the market is going to go down. To buttress this further, let me explain. If I place a long trade, it simply means, let's say I place a long trade and then at the current price of 0.9007, and then as I place the trade, Matic started going up to like 0.91, 0.92 to $1. I'm making profit. But if it started going down instead of going up, I'll be losing my money. Now on the other way around for short, if I place that Matic is going to go down from $0.9 and then starts going down to like 0.8, now just like it's going down now, I'll be making profit. And the more it's going down, I'll be making profit. But immediately it starts going up above that my point, I'll start making losses. So you need to be aware of that. So whenever you see long or short, it simply means you're predicting. For long, you're predicting that the market is going to go up. For short, you're predicting that the market is going to go down. Some other platforms actually shows sell and buy. Buy simply means you're predicting that the market is going to go up. That is the same thing as long. And then short or sell simply means the market is going to go down. So whenever you see that, you don't have to get confused about it. So let's click on short, for instance, and it takes us to this section. Right, so you can, at the top here, you can see that this is Matic USDT, and the next below it is cross. If I click on it, let me go back. Now this stands for now this stands for margin. Now if I click on that cross, there are other options there. If I go back, like you can see isolated margin, and then you can see cross margin. Let me explain what these two means and how you can actually use it. Let me start with isolated. If I click on cross, now there are two options right there, cross and margin. There's even another option which is portfolio margin, but just avoid this for now. You basically use cross and margin. Now let me explain what these two actually means, cross and margin. Let me start with cross. If you see right here, you can see that our account is actually selected on cross margin. You can see it's written here selected. If I go back, that is what is showing here. Now cross simply means that, let's say I want to enter this trade with, I have $100 right here. Let's say I want to enter this trade with $50, for instance, and once I enter this trade, I took a long position. That means I'm predicting that Matic is going to go up, but instead of going up, Matic started going down. What will happen is, if Matic keeps going down and then maybe I don't have a stop loss. I'm also going to show you what I'm also going to tell you what stop loss simply means. Now, if I didn't put a stop loss, and Matic kept going down, and then it went down to my $50 till the end. My $50, it went down till my $50 finished. My trade will not close, because why? I still have another $50 left here. You can see my balance right here is $100. So if I've entered the trade with $50, if the trade is going against me and then I've lost the whole of that $50, my trade will not still close until this remaining $50 here, after I've used the first one, I've finished. That is when my trade will close. Now let's go to isolated. Now for isolated, it simply means that if I enter the trade with $50 out of that $100 I have, and then this trade starts going against me, I've lost my $50. When my $50 finishes, the trade will close automatically, and then I'll still have my $50 in my balance, which is different from cross margin, because for cross margin your trade will remain open, but for isolated, only the amount you enter the trade with is what you can only lose. So one thing I advise newbies is to always use isolated. Don't use cross margin, so that you don't get all your capital liquidated, so that in case you've put in some money into your unified account and then you've entered the trade with a certain amount, even if you didn't put stop loss, you're only going to lose that amount you entered the trade with, and not your full capital. So I'll leave it on isolated. I'll click on confirm. So if you look right here, you can see that it has changed from cross to isolated. All right, now the next thing you can see right here is 10x. I can click on it. Let me go back. You can look at it very well. 10x. Now this stands for leverage. So futures trading is possible with the power of leverage. If I click on it, you can see I can actually move this to any amount, even up to 75x. For some coins like BTC, you can move it to up to 125x. And I'm going to explain what this thing means. You can also click on this and then just change this and then type what. So let's say you want to type like 15.23x, and then you can see we have 15.30x. I can save it and click on OK, and you can see we have 15.3x right there. So you can always adjust this to anything you want. All right, so let's just leave it at 10x, and then we'll come back to it later on. So I'll click on save, and I can also stop this prompt so that I don't get this prompt whenever I want to click on it. I'll click on do not prompt confirmation and then click on OK. So whenever I want to change it, that prompt confirmation will not come up anymore. All right, so we've done that. And all right, so if I click all right, so we've selected 10x. So let me explain what that 10x simply means. 10x simply means your money has actually multiplied by 10 times. So let's say I wanted to enter this trade with, let me just say $10. This is $9.93 for instance. Now what this actually does is it multiplies my money by 10. So futures trading allows you to borrow money and then use that borrowed money to make more profit for yourself, unlike when you're trading spot market. So let's say I have I just want to give two examples. Let's say I have $100 in my spot account, and then I have $100 in my futures account. Now if I enter a trade on spot, if I go back and then let's say I select spot and then enter any particular trade and buy BTC for instance, and then I bought it with $100 on the spot market, and BTC does, let's say 50% for instance, what I've made is extra $50 because my money I used to enter was $100. 50% of $100 is $50. So I've actually made $50 for myself. So my total capital now will be $50 plus $100, which is my initial money I used to enter, which is $150. Now, but in futures trading, that is in derivative, what I've actually made is that $50 I actually made in the spot market multiplied by 10, because I actually use a 10x leverage right here. So my profits now will be $500, which is $50 multiplied by 10x. That actually gave me $500. But for someone that entered on the spot, the person made only $50. But for me that entered in the futures market, in the derivative market, I've actually made $500. So that is the power of leverage. That is what leverage does for you. But look at it this way. You make profit the much more leverage you use. That is the same way you also make losses. So for me that actually entered with 10x leverage, if this trade goes against me, I will lose 10 times more than the person that entered in the spot market. So you actually need to plan your risks very well and know at what leverage is okay for you to enter, and then how to manage your trade properly. Although I'm going to talk about that later in this video. All right, so you can also change this to, let's say, 20x for instance. When it's 20x, it simply means you're multiplying the profit you're going to make in the spot section by 20 times. So if you make only 50% profit in the spot market, you multiply that by 20 times, and then that is actually your profit. All right, so the next thing to do is look at this limit right here. You can see limit right there. If I click on it, there are other options here: market, conditional, chase limit, scaled order, and TWAP. Now what I use mostly is limit and market. That is the most important thing you actually need to know in this market. All right, but I might still spend time to talk about this, but for now I'm just going to talk about limit and market. So limit is simply telling Bybit that this is the particular price I want to enter a particular coin. If you look right here, you can see that the current price for Matic is 0.90000, but I can tell Bybit that, see, I don't want to enter Matic at 0.90 because I feel like Matic is going to go down. Let's say I want to take a long position and I feel like Matic will go down a little bit first before it will start going up. I can say, okay, I want to enter Matic. When it gets to 0.8, place a trade for Matic for me. And the next thing, let's change this Matic here to, I'll click on order by value and then leave it as USDT, so that I'll be seeing the USDT price, and I'll just drag this right here. So let's say I want to use 9.98 USDT to enter this trade. You can see it right now, and then I'm going to click on buy long and I'll click on confirm. So when I do this, you can see that this is written under orders. Why this trade is not executed right here? Because if the trade is executed, if the trade is actually live, it will show under position, but you can see under position is written 0. It is actually showing under orders, and it is like that because the current price of Matic is not up to $0.8. It's until Matic gets to $0.8 that it is going to activate, and then the trade will start running on either profit or loss. But right now it is still at 0.9. Now it has gone down to 0.899, so it needs to get to 0.800 before my trade will open up, and then the trade will start going up, either up or down, and I'll start seeing my profit. So that is what limit actually does for it. But let me go ahead and then cancel this right here. Now I can still use limit to enter this trade very fast. Let me just show you how to do that. But first, let me change my leverage to, like, let's say 10x for instance. And so I'm about to take the trade. I'll just do this and then I'll drag this. I'm going to explain something more, but first let me click on buy long and I'll click on confirm, and you can see that my trade has actually opened automatically. You can see that I've actually used limits to enter the trade very fast. Now limit also, because we are very fast enough to have put in the right price, the current price of Matic. That's why it picked our trading started, so you can start seeing our profit. Right now we're on minus 0.05, which is about minus 0.22% profit. Okay, so let's leave this, let's just leave it a little bit, and I'm going to come back to it. But first I want to show you something. When I drag this ruler right here, this ruler actually determines how much you want to enter the market with. All right, so if I drag this, you notice that whenever I drag this ruler right here, now look at what happens. Look at this, is the cost price, which is $18.69. that is the amount I actually want to enter this trade with. Now when you look up here, you can see that what is showing here is 184.99 USDT. It doesn't mean we want to enter this trade with 184.99 USDT, but what it means is, because of the power of leverage, I told you about leverage initially. Now because we are using a 10x leverage, what it did is it actually multiplied the money I want to use to enter this trade, which is about $18.69, by 10 times, and then it gave me the total money, which is around 184. But normally 18.69 is supposed to give us $186, but why it gave us 184.99 was actually that Bybit has calculated their profit, and then Bybit have actually calculated their transaction fee, and then this is just the balance it's going to give to us. So we're entering this trade with $18.69 and not this one. This is actually as a result of our leverage. You can see that if I change this leverage to, let's say, 20x for instance, and then I click on save. Okay, this is 21x. I want to use 20x precisely, or I'll just type it here instead of dragging that in, and then it's taking my time. And I'll click on done, and I'll click on save. So let's say I want to drag this and I want to use $21 to enter this trade. Now If I'm using $21 to enter this trade, watch what actually happens here. My money, or let me even use a conventional amount I can easily calculate. So let's say this is $30.48. $30.48 multiplied by 20 is about $600, right? What do we have here? We have 596.9491 USDT, which is almost equivalent to 600 USD. But Bybit has actually calculated their transaction fee or something like that, and then this is what is given to us. So we're actually using $30 to enter this trade, but because of the power of leverage actually increases our capital by any amount of leverage you want to use to enter that particular trade. So the more your leverage, the more money you are using to enter, but that actually determines if you make a loss. You're going to make much more losses than other persons. So always watch your leverage and make sure you plan your trade well before entering. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I'll click on done. You can see that our trade is actually moving on profit. We are currently on $0.32 profit so far, which is around 2.63%. Now if I click on, look at this unrealized profit, it's going up more. Look at 3.51%. We are moving up on profit. Now if I click on this, there's this arrow right here just close to unrealized P&L. If I click on it, and then it shows up like this, I can just save this and go and share to my friend that, see you, I've actually made 3.something% profit, and then just show them that I'm trading and I'm making money out of trading. Okay, so that is how to do that. But first, let me go back. And now I want to show you how to set your stop loss and take profit. It is very, very important. So if you look right here, you can see TP/SL. Now there are two ways to set your take profit and stop loss. The first way to set it before you enter the trade, and then the second way is to set it after you've entered the trade. For this trade, we've actually entered the trade, so let me show you how to set it after we've entered this trade. I'll click on TP/SL, and right here I'm going to put in my stop loss. So my stop loss, I'll be telling Bybit that, see, if Matic as a coin goes to 0.85, if Matic goes to 0.89, close this trade for me on a loss, and I'm going to lose about 26% of the money I used to enter this trade. So if Matic starts going against us and then it hits 0.89, the trade will close. I will lose 26% of my money, which is around 3.3 USDT. Okay, and then the next one is take profit. So I'll say, okay, if Matic gets to $1, close this trade for me. How much are you seeing here? I'm going to make 217% profit, which is around $26.7266, which is around 217% profit. You can see it right here. So if this trade hits my stop loss, I'm going to lose 3.3 USDT, and if this trade hits my take profit, I'm going to make 26.726 USDT. Remember, I actually entered this trade with about $10 or even less. I can't even remember the amount. So I'm going to click on confirm. Now, you don't actually set your take profit and stop loss blindly. Don't just put any figure you're seeing here. No, you have to put in a figure that actually aligns to the chart. Except like you're getting signal from our page, we'll actually give you the stop loss and take profit. So you just impute the stop loss and take profit. All right. So I'll just go back since we've set that up. Now I want to enter another trade and then show you how to set take profit and stop loss before you enter the trade. All right, so to do that, because we're already on a trade on Matic, we can actually enter again. So I'll enter with another coin. I'll click on here and let's look for another coin to enter. So let's say OP. This is optimism coin. All right, so this is OP USDT, which is optimism coin. So let's enter a short for this one. Since we've entered the long for Matic, let's just test the short. And I'm going to enter at with just more money. Let's say I'll just drag this a little bit backward to, let's say this is 8.69 USDT. So I want to set my take profit and stop loss before the trade get activated. So I'll click on this plus TP/SL. I'll click on it, and now because I want to take a short position, that means I'm predicting that this market is going to go down. I'm going to click on short. Okay. If I was predicting that this market is going to go up, I'll click on long. So always look out for that. So because I'm predicting it's going to go down, I'm going to click on short. So what is my target? So I look at my order price. I entered that my order price for OP is 2.0682 USDT. So right. So for stop loss, I can say, okay, if OP goes up a little bit, because we are shorting, we don't want OP to go up above this 2.0682. So let's say if OP is still going up, So $2.2 for instance, or let's say $2.1, close this trade for us on loss. And if that happens, we are going to lose 1.3228 USDT, which is around 15% of our money. And now we can set our take profit. So our take profit is if Optimism, which is OP coin, goes to $2, close this trade on profit for us, we are going to make 2.8371 USDT, which is around 32.97% profit. Okay, I'm going to click on confirm. And once I do that, the next thing to do is to click on sell short, and then I'm going to click on confirm. All right, so see that our trade has not actually activated. Why did that happen? If I click on order right here, you can see that our entry price is 2.0682 USDT, but OP is currently at 2.0666, which means it has gone down a little bit before we enter the trade. So it needs to get back to this price before our trade will get activated like this one. Okay, so we need to wait for that. But while waiting for that, we can also cancel this and then use the market option, which helps us very well. So if I cancel this, let's use market to enter, because I've not explained market initially. So I'll click on this and change this to market. So what market does is it enters at the current price of the market. It doesn't enter with the limit price. Don't tell Bybit that enter at this certain price for us. No, it enters at the current price of the market. Okay, so all I just have to do is to drag this right here. So anything that's the price of this particular coin to enter at that current price. So this is the money we're entering here is about 8.68 USDT. Now I'm going to click on TP/SL, and then we're also going short. So I'll just click on SL and I'll click on short, and let's set our stop loss. So let's say our stop loss is at 2.1. So if it hits 2.1, they're going to lose about 16% of our money, which is 1.3936 USDT. That's 16% of our money. And if it goes to our favor, close this trade for us on profit, which is, let's say I'll set it as 1.95 USDT for instance. That will give us a profit of 4.8464 USDT, which is around 56% of our money. So I'll click on confirm, and now I'm going to click on sell short, and I'll click on confirm. If you don't want this to come up anytime you want to enter a trade, just click on do not prompt confirmation and then click on confirm. So see what happened. It actually entered at the current price of the market. You can see it right here. The trade activated instantly. It didn't wait for that current price that we were setting before. Rather, because we set it on market, it entered at the current market price. So watch out for when we tell you to enter at the limit price or enter at the current market price. Please use that effectively. Don't enter opposite. Don't enter the opposite way. If we tell you to enter at the certain price, use that certain price to enter your trade. And if we tell you to enter at market price, use the market price. But most times we always tell you to use a limit price, so you just leave it as limit. All right, so now we've already set our stop loss and take profit because we set it up initially from before the trade was actually placed. But for Matic, we already placed our stop loss and take profit after the trade was placed. So I've shown you two ways you can actually use to set your take profit and your stop loss. Now the final thing I want to show you before I show you how to place these trades with our signals is how to close this trade. All right, so if you want to close this trade, it's simple. Just click on close buy, but we're only going to close this trade when it's on profit. I don't want to close it when it's on loss. So you can see that currently for OP, we are currently at $0.08 profit, which is around 0.96% profit. It's moving now 1.20%. Now, whenever you're on reasonable profit, like let's say 50% profit or like 30% profit, you might want to move your stop loss from the point it is to your entry point. Let me show you. Look at this. If we go here, you can see that our stop loss is at minus 16%. So whenever this trade hits minus 16%, we're going to lose 1.4310 USDT, which is 16% of our money, right? Now, if you're on profit, we can always shift that as our stop loss to be on our entry point, which is, look at our entry point, which is 2.0656. And then if we hit that particular point, we're not going to lose 16% anymore. Rather, we are going to only lose rather we are going to leave the trade with our capital complete. We are not going to lose this 16%, which is about $1.43 anymore. We're only going to leave the market with our capital. The only thing is they will just charge us transaction fee, which is like 0 point something dollars depending. All right, so since we are on profit now a little bit, but not this kind of 0.007% profit, not 0.86% profit, is actually very low. But let's say we are currently on like 30% profit or 40%. You just come here and click on this TP, set TP/SL, which you've done before. So you come here, click on this thing and change it instantly. So you put it at your entry point. So your entry point is 2.0656. all right, so you can see that here there's no percentage. You look down here, you see 0.000 USDT. So you're not going to lose any money if this trade hits your stop loss. All right, so I'll go down now and then I'll click on confirm. You can see it right now. We've set our stop loss to our entry point, and if this retraces back, it will just take us out of the market and we won't lose money anymore, instead of losing that 16% initially. So that is how it works. And even if you want to keep moving your stop loss to profit, let me show you how to do that actually. So let's say this is on 100% profit, but right now it's on 2.45% profit, but let's say it's on 100% profit, and you want to move your profit to like, let's say 50% profit. You can come here and click on set TP/SL and then put in the amount right there. So let's say the amount is like 1.95 USDT. You can see this is 55% profit. You can see that is about $4.8. And once you click on confirm, it's going to set up automatically, but it won't work right now because we are not up to 55% profit. It's only when it gets to that point that we can actually set it up. So when it's up to 55%, or it is more than that, don't set it when it's 55%. Set it like when it's like 100% profit. You can adjust it to this 55% and just keep doing that, so that in case the trade retraces back, you will end up leaving the market with profit and not with loss. So let's go back, and we are currently at 3.27% profit. Now let me show you how to close this trade. Now to close this trade, just click on close by, and now finally you can click on confirm, and that trade has been closed automatically. You can see our money is back. We still have that trade opened, which we've not closed. We actually tested this, so not like we did an analysis to enter this market. It was just a blind trade to show you how to set up the futures market. So let me show you how to start copying our signals. First, I'll change this to Acro. That's the coin I actually want to enter right now, and I'll select it. All right, so you can see what I actually posted there. Short coin Acro, AKRO, entry 0.0086, SL, which stands for stop loss, 0.0088. Now we have TP1. Now TP stands for take profit 1. So our take profit 1 is going to be 0.0082. Our take profit 2 is going to be 0.008. And then our take profit 3 is going to be 0.007. Now the price is going down because we actually predicting that this coin is going to start going down from this current price it is on. All right, so let me show you how to enter it right away. So I can just see entry point is 0.0087. all right, I'll drag the amount I want to use. So let's say I wanted to use like $13, and I'll click on sell short. So remember, I didn't actually set my take profit and my stop loss initially. I've actually taught you the two methods, but let me go ahead and show you right now how to set it. So I'll click on set TP/SL, and then I'll set our stop loss. So look right here, our stop loss is 0.0088. right, so I'm going to type it here, 0.0088, which is around 10% loss. So if it goes to 0.0088, I'm going to lose 10% of my money, which is $1.3764. And then for our take profit, now there are different ways to set it, but you can actually pick any of these take profits you're seeing here. That is one way to do it. In case you are not greedy, you can just say, okay, I take profit 1, I want to close this trade, but I'll still show you how to set the 3 of them instantly. But first, you can say, okay, let me just close this trade. Then it gets to the take profit 2. You can just say, okay, I want to be conservative to set it to take profit as take profit 2. But I'm not saying you should always wait for TP2. You can close your trade at TP1 or TP2, anyone, but just try as much as possible to take profit. All right, so I'll come here and then I'll type TP1 is 0.0082. so that gives me about $7.5 That's about 58% profit, and I'm going to click on confirm. So you can see right now I'm already on 8% profit so fast, which is around $1 instantly. I'm already on profit. So now it's still going up. I'm on $9, 9% profit. It's still going. Now back to what I taught you about how to move your stop loss to your entry point so that you don't lose the trade, because we're on profit right now, but not this kind of profit. I want like 20 or like 30 or 50% profit. But let me just go ahead to show you how to do it again. So I'll click on set TP/SL, and now I don't want to lose any money on this trade again, so I'll just put it back to our entry point, which is this price you can see right here, 0.008707. So I'll just come here and then type it 0.008707. So when it hits this point, it is not going to, we are not going to lose money. You can see 0.00 USDT, so we are not going to lose a dime in this trade. I'll click on confirm, and right now our trade is actually safe. We are running on a very safe trade. If it comes down, we are not going to lose money anymore. Right now we are on 13% profit. It is moving very fast. All right, so if you want to set your, let's say you want to set your take profit 1, I want to show you that second method to set your take profit 1, take profit 2, and take profit 3. But first, we've already set up our take profit 1, but let me just go ahead to show you how to set all the other ones up. So let's click on close by, and now you're going to click on limit. So this is where you're going to do the whole stuff. I'm going to claim this, but first of all, you can also cancel that first take profit you set initially so that it doesn't affect, although it's not going to affect anything, but let's say you've not done it at all, let's just cancel up everything, and I'll just click on save. So we don't have any take profit so far. We only have our stop loss, which is our entry point. So let's start with the take profit 1, which is 0.0082. all right, I'm going to click on close by and then click on limit. So right here I'm going to type 0.0082 USDT. Now I want to indicate how much of our coin do I want to sell. Do I want to sell 10% or 20% or 30% or 40 or 50% or 100%? So it depends. So I can say at take profit 1, close 50% of the trade for me, and I'll click on confirm. All right, we've set take profit 1. You can see the market is still going 16% profit. That was so fast. All right, so we've set our take profit 1. To set take profit 2, I'm going to click on close by again and click on limit. Now our take profit 2 is 0.008. okay, all right, so I'm going to come here and type 0.008, and because I've done 50% already, so I'll just change this to 25%. So that means if we calculate 50 plus 25, that's 75%. So we still have another 25% we are going to allocate for TP3. I'll click on confirm, and it is done. All right, so let's set the TP3. Now I'll click on close by again. I'll click on limit, and I'll click here, right here, and our TP3 is 0.007. So I'll just come here and then type 0.007, close the remaining 25%. So that gives us 100% in total. So make sure you calculate that very well. You can do that, you can do it anyhow you want, but I'm just using this as an example. All right, so I'll click on confirm, and that has been confirmed. So we have, wow, it is moving so fast, 22% profit. It is moving. All right, so we have 3 take profit right now set. If you click on orders right here, you can see all of those orders. Look at from Acro. The first one is your stop loss, which is at 0.008707, which is your stop loss, which is your entry point, which makes your trade risk free. And then the next one is 0.0082, the next one is 0.008, and then the next one is 0.007. So all of those things we've actually placed is showing on the order section. Order section simply means it has not been activated. Once it's activated, it will not show here any longer. So this is basically how to set up your take profits and how to trade the market. Alright, so we are making profit now. Let me just go ahead and close the trade. With the second one, we are also on loss. I actually entered, so I just want to close the 2 of them since we don't need the 2 trades. I'll click on close by and click on confirm, and that trade has been closed out. Let me close this next one. I'll click on close by, click on confirm, and all of our trades has been closed. It is that simple.
Don't say margins have not done anything for you. So from next probably tomorrow, I will start posting signals which you can copy and impute it in your derivative, which is futures, okay, which is known as derivative. Impute it and open up the trade. and let's actually make this money. Okay, I want you guys to understand that there are some days which you're going to win and there are some days which you're going to lose money. Just get used to it. Okay, as long as you manage your risk properly and follow instructions just as the video you've watched, trust me, you're not going to lose that much. Okay, you're also going to make profits. So just have this at the back of your mind that you will make money in some days and you will also lose money in some days. Yes, even crypto gurus also lose money too. So you just have to have this at the back of your mind. I'm just preparing you guys for what you guys are about to get into, so you guys should have a better understanding. Your risk management should be on game. Yes, as long as you follow the steps in this video, your risk management should be on game. I don't want you guys to lose money. I love you guys. Let's make this money from trading. You're welcome.